Welcome to It's Fate, a fantasy novel recap podcast where two besties dive in to discuss your favorite fantasy reads. I'm Katie.
And I'm Morgan, and today we are covering Iron Flame, the second book in the Empyrean series.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I never see anyone call it Empyrean series. It's always just like Fourth Wing.
Why is it Empyrean?
I don't know, but I have seen other series do that.
Is that what their continent's called?
That's what the dragons are called, like the Empyrean.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I see.
So it's really the dragon story.
Look at that. How exciting.
Okay. Last time we talked about what you're reading.
Yes.
How do you like those books? Did you finish them?
What was I reading?
You're reading a million at the same time.
Well, I'm kind of like burnt out on Bridgerton. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't know. I've been listening to Eloise's book and they're not very captivating.
I see Lit Libations. If you don't know them, give them a listen.
They're hilarious.
They're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I see their TikToks and like their clips and stuff, and there's some crazy Bridgerton things that goes on.
Yeah. And they're like super cringe, but there are also moments that you're like, aw.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the more I read them, the more I'm like, these are so different from the show.
Yeah. In a
good way.
Good way.
There are some things that I like about the books. Like, well, actually the only book that I liked more was Anthony and Kate's, because I liked that in the book, spoiler warning, her sister like barely courts Anthony, and then like they're never engaged, they never go to the altar, and I liked that because in the show, although it made for good TV, I was like, Kate is a terrible sister. Like, this is just, you say that your sister's like your best friend, like it just, I don't know, it felt very ick to me.
I agree. I really did not like that her sister had feelings for...
Yes.
I don't like it that it was a love triangle between sisters in the show.
No, me neither. That bugged me a lot. And in the book, it's not like that at all.
No, her sister like wants them together.
Yes, and is very aware. She like, goes on like one walk with him and is like, oh no, my sister loves him. Yeah. And I can see it right away. And I'm like, yeah, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing really from the books that I was like, that's...
The
one thing from all 5 books that I've read. However, one of the ones, I jumped around a little bit, so I read Hyacinth's, so I don't know what her show will be like. But it was good. But every male lead, whether they're a Bridgerton or not, at one point or another, threatens to kill their love.
They're so misogynistic.
They're just like...
It's too much.
And in that moment, he knew he was going to kill her. And then I'm like, but he's not. Like,
I also don't personally love the whole, like, the man always has a bunch of sex and you have, like, this virginal woman. I'm like...
I know. And I think that's one of the hard things about Bridgerton is, like, they are trying to keep some things really traditional to the times, but then they're also modernizing it. And so it's easy to feel like, why is this happening? Because all these other modern things are happening.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, but the times... And it really is important for the storyline, like thinking about Daphne and
well, it's a historical fiction, it needs to have that.
Yes,
in there.
exactly. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I know, maybe historical fiction in that way is probably not for me.
No, and even the TV show this last season, I was kind of underwhelmed.
I've heard that. I have not watched it because of that.
Yeah,
it
was just okay. It was a little disappointing.
Yeah. How about your other books?
Oh, yes. Okay, so right now I just finished Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. They were good. Not great to me. Good. Very good writing, especially in the first book. They were both 3 stars for me. Neither was like super... It wasn't like keep me up late at night kind of read, but the main characters, their romance was very sweet. And just like this really sweet, innocent love that was nice. I just finished that last night, so I haven't started anything new.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I finished Iron Flame in like a week. Less than that. I was like, shoot. It was like Thursday and I like had read maybe like a little bit.
I know,
over
you
a
finished it
quarter.
yesterday. You texted me last night about the ending, and I was like, oh, man, we're recording tomorrow.
So I've just been like zooming. Well, I've been trying to zoom through this read, but I mean, spoiler warning, it was a little slow.
And it's like kind of dense. Like it's just a lot that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, I just want to say we are drinking
some
Simply Spiked drinks.
Oh, is this like the tea? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's delicious.
Morgan has mango peach. Mm-hmm. Do you like it? What's your review?
I'm going to say 5 out of 5. Much better than a White Claw.
I agree.
White Claws are so gross, but this has real sugar in it, so that's probably why it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, so we're wearing purple.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, because this is going to spoil alone, right? We are talking all things Iron Flame. So if you have not read Fourth Wing and you have not read Iron Flame, go away, read it.
Join us
come
later.
Back. Yes. We are reading purple. We're wearing purple for, how do we say her name? Adarna?
And Darna.
And Darna.
Yeah.
There we go.
Morgan even wrote on here.
Adarna.
Adarna.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep thinking of what's the name of the place in Throne of Glass?
I think, you know what I think I was saying? I was saying, I've seen it. Some people say Adarlan.
Yes. Okay, I say Adarlan.
I've seen people say Adarlan.
So I've been saying Adarna because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Adarlan, but it's Andarna.
Yeah.
We're wearing purple for Andarna because she is the rare 5th breed of dragons.
I-
the purple dragon.
Didn't even realize she was purple because she kept changing colors.
Yeah, I at that point when Violet was describing... Oh, we're also like purple, violet for Violet. Was describing how she was like, she didn't say her skills were a different color, but she just kept saying like, oh, maybe she's still maturing. Like they keep reflecting the world around her. I was like, that's when I knew. I was like, there's going to be some reveal about her. I didn't know it was going to be that, but I'm like, there's something
Fishy.
happening here. Yeah.
I'm glad you caught that she was purple. Because I was like,
I didn't catch that she was purple. I just knew something was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you did. I didn't know she was purple. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no. Violet says it. At the end, she was like, she realized that her skills were actually like a really dark purple. That kind of...
I obviously was not closely reading. I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Gotta get to the end. Oh my goodness. All right, so what did you rate the book?
I'm giving it a 3-star.
Mm-hmm. I did the same.
Okay. Did it live up to your expectations?
Some parts of it did. I also knew going into it that the ending was... I heard that like the ending was either disappointing or just like had a really big shock factor to it. And so I went in knowing that and I was like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I thought a main character was going to die, like potentially Xaden was going to die, which that's not what happened, basically, kind of. But yeah.
Yeah. I knew that people, I mean, I think you heard it too.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that people weren't the biggest fans of the second book.
People were disappointed.
Yeah. So I kind of didn't really have a lot of expectations, but
Same.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. There were some things that I really loved about it. Mm-hmm. And there were others that were not hard to read, but just like, okay, we're here. Like, come on, let's go.
Would you reread it?
Probably not.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't either unless I was like rereading the whole series. And,
Yes.
Like, wanting.
Yeah, same. I typically only will reread a book voluntarily if I gave it 5 stars, which I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars.
Yeah.
So this was like a big jump for me. And I don't give a lot of books 5 stars.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of stingy with my stars. I feel like we're the same though.
I feel that way too. Am stingy with my stars.
Yeah, I was talking to my cousin because she was like, what'd you think of Divine Rivals? And I was like, it was good. I gave it a 3. And she's like, a 3 sucks. And I was like, no, a 3 is a good book.
A 3 is like, yeah, I'm gonna recommend it.
Yeah,
but
the writing is good, but it may just like maybe wasn't for me.
And there were some parts where I was like, well, I don't really care.
Yeah, but others that I was like, oh, like I said, I really loved the romance between the main characters. Most of the other parts of the book, I was underwhelmed. Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of like with this book, like Xaden and Violet throughout I loved getting to dive deeper into their relationship.
Me too.
Everything else I felt like I either got way too much information or way too little information.
I agree. It was this stuff that like I wanted more info about. For example, her mother.
Yes.
I would want to have a whole novella on General Sorrengail's
decision
career.
making.
Yeah, like her career, her mother. Like I feel like it would be so interesting. And then she dies.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even just the whole like power system of Tyrandor and Poromiel, like I just got confused. I was like,
yeah,
they're just giving us little, like she was just giving us the basics, and I'm like, I need more, because then you're tying it into things. I don't know, it was confusing.
I agree, because I was thinking, wait, I thought they had their king, right? King, whatever.
I think they still do.
Yes,
but he deferred or something.
But then you have like Tyrandor, which Xaden is basically like king there, right? Like kinda, but not really,
right? Because what's her face is like, I only want him for his crown, and I'm like, what crown? I was confused.
I thought they were all part of the same thing.
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
So last episode, you had lots of predictions or feelings come true.
I did. Yes.
Did you have any from this book that?
The only thing I knew was that, like I said, I didn't predict it exactly, but I knew that something was going to be special about Andarna. Yes. Andarna. That's something, there was something unique about her, and I was like, she's the key to something. Like, there's just something there. Other than that, no, I did not predict General Sorrengail dying. However, I didn't mind that. But it did give me like Daddy Archeron vibes of like, you've been this terrible parent, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I'm dying for you.
Yeah.
I've loved you all along. You have no idea what I've done for you. Dead. Well, now how am I going to know what you've done for me? You just died.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
I have some of my thoughts later in the episode.
Okay.
So we can
I'll
talk
save
about
those. Yeah, what about you? Any predictions?
I knew there was something going on with her mom. I was like, her mom, I think, obviously knows, but like I felt like there was something deeper.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think.
Yeah. I don't know.
What predictions did I make?
We talked about, well, I had a feeling something was going to happen with Xaden.
Oh, yeah. And then we were talking about the Venin. Like, what are the Venin looking for?
Yes.
Which still, it was just like, oh, they just want to conquer it because it's like, it's powerful.
They just want power.
Isn't really a secret.
No.
That's not really like...
But isn't that kind of common for these big villains?
Yeah.
Like, most just want more power.
Their motives aren't...
In real life, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone wants power.
That's true. Okay, let's talk about some of our likes for the book. I totally now understand what you meant when you said you get more Violet in this book.
Yes,
I felt
a lot of Violet.
Yeah, I felt like I was able to connect with her more and like understand her motives. I feel like that was missing from Fourth Wing, is sometimes her motives and like her, just like who she is.
And maybe I never even had like a moment to process that in the first book, because the moment I sat down Fourth Wing, I picked up Iron Flame. And so it was just like one continual story for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a break. I did have a break. So I did like that I was able to get more insight on just like who she is.
Yeah. And I loved her and Xaden's relationship. I really liked that we got to see them like argue and work through things in the relationship. I feel like so often in books that kind of stuff is kind of glazed over, or couples never argue. And I'm like, that is not realistic. You are two individual people who are going to have different opinions. You have pasts that you need to work through. Like, you guys come from very different upbringings. This made sense to me, but the fact that they always were like, well, I love you no matter what, but we need to talk about this. Like, I love you no matter what, but I'm going to fight you on that. I was like, I like that.
I
like
liked
that
it
a lot.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like refreshing. Sometimes I feel like you get like we're together
everything
forever,
is perfect.
Yeah.
Everything is awesome. Yeah.
And I like seeing how Violet's own personal, like her trauma, right? Like she was betrayed by her brother who faked his death, her mom, her government. I can see how that can impact her relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I really love that cliffhanger ending.
Okay,
did you like it?
So I was mad. I was like, what the heck? Like, I like that it was a cliffhanger, but I was just like, okay, so here's the thing. Now we know. I feel like it's going to get resolved, obviously. Yeah. Like, some crazy thing is going to happen where they're going to find a way to heal the venom. But I was just like, I don't know if I loved that. I really loved Xaden, and I don't know if I love that he chose that.
I love that he chose that.
Really?
I loved it.
I don't know.
A man willing to be evil for me because he loves me so much.
Oh my God.
Why is that kind of hot?
But I feel like it scares me, but it's like, it feels like there's no way for the venom to control that, and they become something. It's not like vampires. Like, if it was like, oh, I can become a vampire and it's like evil, but they can learn to control their bloodlust and all of that, and like, okay, hot, whatever.
Twilight.
Yeah, literally Twilight.
Literally Twilight.
And Vampire Diaries. But it feels like this is like, you just agreed to not be yourself anymore. And that's why I was like, oh no.
I just don't know how the venom, again, the magic behind that. So do they keep some of their stuff? Because I thought they were like just crazy. And then, but you see how Jack was able to like function in society. So I don't know.
I know, but at the end, Xaden has his little chapter.
Yeah.
And he is like saying that he can already feel the pull, that he has to like fight the urge to just like take power.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna lead to a really good story.
It's gonna be so good.
But I was like, now we have to wait, which we don't even have to wait that long. January will be here so soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Tarn and Janissa.
Yes. Wait, Tarn and Janissa? Like,
Jacinia.
You mean Sawyer?
No, I just love Tarn.
Oh,
and then
I thought you meant like their relationship.
Oh,
and I was like, I don't know if they ever talked.
No, I love them separately.
Yes.
That was confusing.
Yes,
Sorry.
I really like Jacinia being a bigger part of the story.
I feel like, I'm like, I would be you, hopefully. Hopefully.
Right, like willing to take those risks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And her and Sawyer were so cute.
They were so
Him
cute.
learning
And I
sign
loved,
language.
yes, I loved that. And that was one of the things, one of the few moments where I feel like we got info about some of the side characters, which I liked.
Yeah, me too. And then I know you said you didn't really like Tarn that much in this book, in the first episode.
Not
that you didn't like him.
It's not that I didn't like him. I just was like, I feel like we don't know him still. I love like how he treats Violet, and how he's always like, you know, battling her self-doubt by being like, I didn't choose poorly. Remember, like, kind of like a compliment about like a back way of complimenting himself of like, I wouldn't choose a weak loser, so get over yourself. But I just feel like we don't, maybe, I don't know. I feel like we get to know Andarna's personality a little bit more than we do Tarn's.
I love how straightforward he is. And I feel like for a character who is, he never says how old he is, but he's old, right?
Well, he always jokes, he's like, I'm not that old.
Yeah, but he's obviously older than like a human would be. And I feel like his, like even his, like reaction to like Violet's self-doubt or like her jealousy. Yeah. It's just very straightforward. Like I feel like a person who was that old would be like, why are you wasting your time on being jealous or so downing yourself? Like,
it's true. And it's interesting because he has made it very clear that like when he bonds, he feels like Violet's his last rider. Yeah. He's like, if she dies, I'm dying too. Because every bond he's had has gotten stronger and stronger. But to me, that makes me think that he's very emotional and empathetic. But I don't feel like we get a lot of that piece of him other than him being like constantly all the time, don't worry, I'm on my way, and then he never makes it on time. And I'm like, where have you been? Where are you, Tarn? Why are you always one more minute, just one more minute? And it's like, sorry, Violet dug herself out of that herself and somebody died along the way.
He's busy with
Sageyl.
Sageyl. I don't know her name.
Seagull.
Say that to her face and she would chomp your head off.
She literally would incinerate me. Dracarys. I've been watching House of the Dragon. So that means fire in High Valyrian.
Ooh. High Valyrian. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I feel like that sounded like Valkyrie. I was like,
no. You don't watch
no.
that? I think you would like House of the Dragon. Did you watch Game of Thrones at all?
I watched the first 2 seasons and then I stopped.
Okay. Well, here's the problem about Game of Thrones. I think there were 8 seasons. The first 7, chef's kiss. Amazing. Best stuff ever. Chef. See, I should not be drinking while podcasting. Season 8, the last season, shit. Just ruined it. Like, it's one of those shows where I'm like, oh, I should go back and watch it. And then I'm like, absolutely not, because it ends so badly to the point that the writers on that show have basically been banned from TV because they rushed it because they thought they were going to get a Star Wars gig. But once the Star Wars people saw their last season of Game of Thrones, they were like, no, we don't want you. Yeah. It was bad.
I am totally fine with not completing watching TV series.
Well, watch up to season 7 and then jump over and watch House of the Dragon.
I cannot make you promises because the episodes are so long.
Yeah, they're like an hour to an hour and a half. It's like a mini movie.
I will watch it one day.
Yeah. House of the Dragon is fun though because it comes out weekly and that just doesn't happen as much. So like Sunday nights, Michael and I watch it together, which is fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Anyway, dragons. And all I could think about in this last episode, for those of you who watched House of the Dragon, because there was dragons battling each other, I was like, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead. Kind of applies. All right. What else? I loved Andarna's story, learning more about who she is and how she was waiting, which it's like, I'm so glad there's another book because it's like, okay, she literally was waiting to hatch for hundreds of years because she was waiting for Violet. But why? Mm-hmm. Why Violet? What is it about her? I feel like we still don't super know why she's kind of this chosen one.
Yeah. And even Violet herself questions, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, you didn't know I was going to be a writer. I was going to be a scribe. And she's like, well,
I knew.
Yeah. Crazy.
And we don't really know how old she actually is.
Yeah.
So when did she really hatch to be able to, I don't know.
Hatch or?
Yeah, hatch. Mm-hmm. Right? Because she waited to hatch from her dragon egg.
Yeah. But she said because she heard about Violet. So.
Right.
Violet's 20-something.
I think she's
21.
20? 21?
She's 21. Because I remember thinking, finally, someone not 19. But I'm like.
I thought she was 19 when it started. So now she'd be 20.
No.
Everyone's 19. You're right.
Everyone's 19.
Why 19? They're 18, still barely an adult. 19, totally ready for war.
19's a teenager.
Yeah. Make everyone at least 20.
I think make everyone at least.
I'm saying at least.
Yeah. Ideally, my age.
Always my age.
Always the same age as me.
I'm just getting older, and I don't know how long it's going to be appropriate for me to read about 19-year-olds.
Exactly. I even feel that way with certain shows.
This is why I stopped watching Summer I Turned Pretty. I was
like a perv.
I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
I've been out of high school for 10 years. I'm done.
I don't want to be watching teenagers make out.
No, it just feels weird. And I'm like, oh, they're so hot. And then I'm like, nope.
But that's the thing. The actors are older, but then they play these teenagers. I know, but it's a mind fuck.
It really is.
Not,
Yeah. So anyway,
everyone
just get older in the books so that we can keep reading them.
Give us some recommendations with female main characters that are I would say
late 20s,
mid to late
30s.
20s. I think mid 20s is good for me. I don't need them exactly.
You're not in your mid 20s.
I
know how old you are.
I'm almost 30.
Me too. But we're still in our 20s. Yeah. I am closer. Okay, Katie, by 2 months. Shut up. Anyway, something else I loved.
Yes.
Or liked. I liked learning a little bit more about the Griffin School and their flyers, is what they call them, the flyers culture as well.
My dog is named Griffin, if you don't know that. So I'm like, I would have to be a flyer. I would have to. Mm-hmm. And Griffin is sassy like a griffin.
Yeah.
He is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, so cute.
Yeah.
What didn't you like?
Okay, I realized I texted this
to you.
I realized I hate their names.
That's so funny. I didn't even think about that.
They're way too current for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm walking into a classroom full of white children when I read their names.
Xaden Is Xaden a white name?
With an X? Xaden, yes. Not that... I mean, I know other children of different ethnicities with these names. I'm just saying Bodhi, Xaden.
Is Bodhi even a real
Brennan?
name? I only know a dog named Bodhi.
No,
I do know somebody named Bodhi. He's not white.
I've known a child named Bodhi, and he was white.
I know a child named Bodhi who's not white.
Okay, I just don't like the X either in Xaden's name.
How funny. That never even... I think
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different.
Violet's okay for me. I'm trying to think of like other ones.
They're not very like fantasy names.
No.
Mira.
I like that one. Mm-hmm. I think that one sounds fantasy to me.
Rhiannon.
That one's borderline.
Right, did I say that right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of Rhiannons though. Isn't there a Rhiannon in Throne of Glass? Like not like the witch, one of the OG witches. Oh. And I want to say that's a name that's in Game of Thrones too. I feel like that's a popular fantasy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being more of a
Sawyer.
Fantasy. Yeah, Sawyer, where I'm like, that one's okay.
Riddick.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous Riddick.
So I just don't like the names. I also didn't like how Violet would use like slang that's like very modern. Like when she said, "The fuck?"
I don't even remember that. Oh my gosh.
It would take me out of the moment because I'm like, why is she using like modern day slang?
Why are we suddenly in 2024?
Yeah. Not even 2024. That's like 2022 or something. I don't know.
What's modern slang? Can you imagine if she was just like, you got Riz,
she's like,
Xaden.
Just spitting Riz.
Oh my gosh, I would die.
Also, something I didn't like. There were so many little subplots and hurdles for them to actually get through the book.
Yes. How many chapters did it take for them to climb that dang ridge with the griffins?
Way too long.
So it was a lot.
I saw on Goodreads someone said that it felt like a series. Like every episode, has a little hurdle to get through. That's what it felt like. Like you're watching TV where there's like this little thing.
Well, I feel like the subplots could have been really interesting. And this is something I noted too. There were too many side characters to me. And I keep bringing up Game of Thrones because it's just a great world. Like, what's the author's name? Martin. G.R. Martin?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that. He does such a good job with creating this really massive, diverse world with so many side characters, but giving them enough attention to where you're like, oh, I remember who they are and why they matter. And I kind of feel like that was the problem here. There were a lot of side characters and it had the potential to be really awesome, but there wasn't enough time dedicated to each of them. And so I feel like this book almost needed to be 2 books. Almost needed to be 2 books. And it would have felt like kind of long, but if you do it right, if you build up those subplots enough, they're exciting and they keep us going.
Yeah. Or don't have as many.
Yeah. Like, J.R.R. Martin. G.R.R. I don't know. Never mind. It's not important.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Thank you. Yeah, but it's G something Martin.
With an R?
I think it's an R. I think it's G.R. Martin.
My middle name starts with an R. Could I be a writer?
Yes.
I've actually, not that I would ever, but when you get like fantasies in your head, I'm like, if I was an author, I would probably go by my maiden name. Just, for anonymity. Also, Christy Anson. Imagine that on a book page title. That would be the whole thing.
And I thought it was Christensen for the first 5 months we were friends.
And I do not care.
I know.
I do. And people are like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, call me Katie.
I think I would want a pen name. I don't think I'd want to use my real name.
I don't think I would either.
We should come up with some later.
I'm trying to think of your maiden name. What's your maiden name?
Larson.
No.
No, not Barker. Larson. Mergen Barker.
No one's going to say it like that. Could you imagine you're trying to give an interview and they're like, here comes Morgan Barker. Why are you suddenly Southern?
I don't know. It just it's the the good and the good and the it just is too much.
Those are a lot of very strong sounds.
Yeah.
We'll think of one.
We'll get back to everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, the side characters kind of plays into it being so long and all the subplots. what's her Katerina. Is that how we said her name?
I said that's
Katerina. I did not like her.
I didn't like her either, and I have a note later with when we talk about Violet and Xaden. But I just felt like her character needed better working.
I agree.
It was weird.
I didn't mind the idea of having like somebody make Violet a little jealous.
Yeah.
Even though we as the readers are like, come on, Violet, we know Xaden is just obsessed with you, and we love that. But yeah, it just wasn't my fave.
No. Another side character I noticed was she would often mention Professor De Vera.
Yes.
And being like, does she know about the venom? I know she's a good person. But as a reader, I'm like, I don't know why I should care about Professor De Vera.
Yeah, there was only one professor that I feel like I remembered regularly. I can't remember his name now, but it was the dragon professor.
The dragon professor.
Who can like basically project images, which is a cool.
Oh, I thought that I would not want that.
It would be cool if you wanted to be a professor and you wanted to avoid war.
That is really true.
Yeah.
Also, people would always believe me. I'd be like, I can't lie. Let me just show you.
Look at this movie from my brain.
Okay. This book starts with just kind of like right where Fourth Wing left off. Like literally, the same day?
I think that's why on our Fourth Wing recap, I started talking about the beginnings of this book because it was like, it just meshes together.
It just blends.
Yeah.
Do you like when books in a series do this, or do you like when there's a time jump of some kind?
I liked it. I feel like if the time jump is too big, which happens sometimes, I'm like, but I need to know what happened. Like, I don't want to use my imagination here. Tell me every detail. I need to know. If it's like a week, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind this. I feel like it left off on such a cliffhanger. I liked that it was essentially like the next thing Violet said was in the next book.
I think it was a stronger book because she was just like, Brennan. And then obviously she started talking to him. I feel like I don't mind a time jump either.
Yeah. It just depends.
I don't want it to be too big either.
If it's like a year later, I'm like, but what did you do for this past year?
Just relax.
Just chilled.
Yeah.
Their romance.
The Violet and Xaden. Do you know their ship name? I don't.
Vaden? Xylet? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's kind of lacking for me, to be honest, their romance.
Really?
I wish, maybe it's some of the tropes I didn't like. For example, I wish we would have gotten more. I wanted to see more of Xaden's letters.
I know. Me
I thought
too.
that had been really sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks. It was just like we never got that. I'm like, no, I want to know every detail about him.
I know we would get like a little snippet at the beginning of the chapter, and I'm like, no, I wanted her to open it and read it to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
What do you think about her timeline with forgiving him and how long it took her? You think it took too long? You think it was a good amount of time? Because I know we were both like, at the end of the last book, we were just like, you don't need any time. Come on, he did what he had to do. Get over it.
It was too long for me.
I know. It was cute, though, seeing him be like, okay, well, you want to know me? I'm going to write you letters and just tell you about who I am. Like, it was cute that I feel like her being mad at him did force him to be a little more vulnerable, which I liked. I liked that side of him. Do
you like this kind of, I don't know if it's a trope or what, but when like the main characters get together and then they like something happens, so then they like stop having sex, they like put a pause on like their physical.
Was that like
yeah, remember he wouldn't have sex with her because he wanted to hear those 3 words from her.
Oh, I barely remember that because the rest of the book, there's a lot that happens.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that happens.
Yeah.
But I don't think I disliked it. I don't love when main characters are separated for a long period of time. So I liked that like Xaden got to come back. I feel like I don't know. I kind of liked the way it was done just because he was like, I'm not gonna, what did he say? He was saying something like, I'm not gonna use my body to like get you to say those words. Like, I want you to love me just cause. And I was like, that's kind of sweet. Like, he's like, I want you to forgive me. Like, I'm not gonna
try to convince you through
through sex.
Yeah. I don't like this trope. I even didn't like it in, spoiler warning for Crescent City 2. Not really, but kind of. But there's a romance that happens where they do that, and I did not like that.
Clearly, I just block all this out.
Clearly, you don't like it that much because you're like,
I don't remember it, but I don't think it bothered me. Like, I don't think it was like, ooh, love this. But I was just like, no, whatever. But I did like, it felt like they kind of switched roles in this book.
Yeah.
Of like, in the first book, Violet's like, you love me. And you're going to realize it.
Yeah.
And I'm just here waiting for that to happen. And now in this one, Xaden's like, you love me. I'm just waiting to hear it. You haven't stopped loving me. I thought that was fun.
Yes. You kind of mentioned you don't mind the like jealous.
Yeah, I don't dislike it necessarily if it's done well.
Yeah. I just felt like I thought it was really weird how Kat makes Violet super jealous, right? I mean, she's playing up Violet's own feelings, which Kat has a really cool.
Okay, that piece was cool, and it was. I like that Violet had to realize like Kat's not implanting things in her. These are things Violet already feels, and she just amplifies them, and so it really caused Violet to do some introspection of like, what am I feeling here, and kind of be aware of that, which I liked.
Yeah. I just felt like I thought it was really weird that Kat was doing all of these things, right? Making Violet feel so insecure. Well, not making her, but like playing up those roles of like insecure and like Xaden doesn't really love her. But then you find out that she's just after Xaden's crown and he knows that too. So it's like, that's just a lot for... I felt like it would have worked better if Xaden didn't know that Kat was just after power and not because I'm like, why would he ever choose you then?
I know. I feel like it would have worked if Kat was like completely evil.
Yeah,
but she kind of isn't, because she's like, later she does stuff, she like kind of tries to save Violet, and it's like, I feel like somebody who would just be after power to the point that they want to break up like a true love connection isn't a good person, like, at all.
Yeah.
And she shows some things of like, I felt like her character was just inconsistent.
I felt that way too, because at the end of the book, honestly, it was like, why do I kind of not...
I'm kind of like I want to know more about her. What's going on? Yeah. I don't know. And then her sister is this like awesome person who's been helping Xaden. I don't know. It was just weird.
It was inconsistent. Yeah.
What did you think about the iconic scene that I know I saw a lot on social media? My house, my chair, my woman.
Oh, I love it.
Melted.
The chair scene was amazing.
I thought it was a throne. And I think it is supposed to be. Throne, and then I'm still just like, is he a king? I don't know.
I don't know either. And he kind of explained how like he is because everyone left, but like there's still that
one guy. Town. And what's that one guy that did that awful stuff with the box?
Just an alliance.
But he has some sort of power.
He's in Poromiel.
Poromiel is
Poromiel,
like
thank you.
This. He's in this city. Poromiel is like the kingdom.
Yes. Okay, yeah. And then he's in Corden. That's how I was saying it. So I think it was just because they wanted to alliance the both of their...
But he's some sort of regency as well.
Yes. It seems like it's more of like a city thing.
I don't know. It was confusing. Their whole like hierarchy, government, whatever was confusing.
Yeah.
What do you think about Xaden being a form of intrinsic, which I always want to say intrinsic, intrinsic, and hiding it from Violet?
I think I'm biased towards Xaden because I also hate being vulnerable. So a part of
also
me,
that could have, both things he's withheld from Violet could end his life.
Yes,
like it makes sense to me.
Me too, and I would be scared. I understood why he withheld it for Violet because I know I would be scared. The longer it goes, you're like, shit.
She's not going to love me. When am I going to say this?
You're not going to believe me when I say, like, I didn't read your intentions or your motivations. Yeah. Whatever.
And it's kind of like thinking about our conversation from way back when we did Akamath. It's like, yeah, Rhys withheld being mates from Fair, but when was a good time to tell her? Yeah. And that's kind of how it feels here. It's like he couldn't tell her when they weren't in love.
Yeah.
Because then obviously, who knows what she would have done. Mm-hmm. But now that they are in love, he's like, but then I'm going to lose this love. Like, when do I do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
liked it, but I kind of want like more. Like, I want to learn more about it and how he uses the gift.
I agree. I really think these books could also be written from like Xaden's point of view and be just as interesting.
I agree.
If not more interesting.
I wouldn't mind. I like multiple POVs. So.
Me too. Mm-hmm. Me too. So at the end, Xaden,
big moment,
becomes a Venin. Basically because he's trying to protect Violet and like the whole kingdom.
See, I took it as he was trying not to die because he couldn't live without Violet. Or he couldn't die.
Because
Violet would die. Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I think it's an and, right? He didn't want to die, and I honestly think he'd be fine with dying if it weren't for Violet.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you're right.
Yeah. It seems we get these like little hints that Xaden was also having nightmares. This like the same ones as Violet of like, you're going to turn Venin, right? So we find out that he basically turned Venin because of love. The same reason as to why Violet would ever choose to become Venin. Do you think if Violet was in that situation, if she was the one fighting the Venin and Xaden was the one protecting and like trying to figure out the Wardstone? Ward.
I was like, I don't remember.
Throne of Glass.
Yes.
Wardstone.
Yeah.
If Violet would then choose to become Venin.
I don't think she would have. I think she would have thought Xaden wouldn't want this for either of us.
Yeah.
And she'd think he would be okay with us dying. And I think that's why, and I've been more, not that there's a team here, but I've liked Xaden more than I feel like I've liked Violet. But in this moment, I was like, Xaden, Violet would have just been okay with you guys dying. Like, I feel like she wouldn't want you. She loves you so much. She wouldn't want you to live that life to the point that she would be like, let's just die together. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe it's something I like about Xaden because I'm like, you would sacrifice so much for Violet. Like, you sacrifice basically your humanity.
Yeah.
So that she could be safe. Mm-hmm. What a gesture of love.
I know. And it's because it's a book. Mm-hmm. And it's a romantasy book. You know it's going to work out. Yeah. And you know there's going to be some resolution and everything's going to be fine. At least I think. Most likely that's what's going to happen.
Okay, the Venin are described as like with the red eyes. And for some reason they kind of remind me of like zombie-ish.
Yeah, like a zombie meets vampire kind of.
And I was just thinking like Violet's going to just have herself this like zombie scary man.
Did you ever watch that movie? Oh my gosh, what was it called?
It was a parody movie.
It was about zombies, but he falls in love and it like melts his heart and he turns back to human.
I don't think I watched it, but
it was very cute. It was very cute.
I want this moment for Violet and Xaden.
Yeah, super cute. But I was thinking about it. I was like, WWRD, what would Reese have done? What would Reese do? I don't know.
That's so hard because Reese also has his like self-sacrificial, and we see like even within the books, like spoiler warning if you haven't read ACOTAR or specifically ACO War, A Court of War and
he's
Ruin.
Sacrificing himself.
Wings and Ruin. He sacrificed himself. So I feel like
I don't know
either.
But that was my first thought was like, because I really love both of them. I really like Xaden. I really like Reese. They're probably my favorite like book boyfriends that I've read about. I think a lot of people's favorites.
I think so too. Yeah. I think that's why we see so much on like social media.
Yeah.
I kind of like though that Xaden has some like more flaws. I feel like
it shows that he does have that bad boy tendency.
Yeah,
so
I like that
it's going to be interesting
in the gray. I felt like for ACOTAR, Reese started trying to only be like not in the gray, and to me, I'm like, you're not interesting now.
Interesting.
I like that Xaden's like, fuck my humanity. I'm gonna protect my woman. Like,
we'll see what happens.
I kind of like it.
Okay, yeah, that's fun.
So it's predicted that Violet will get some type of second signet because
of Andarna. Andarna.
Yeah, Andarna is a new dragon, new whatever. What do you think it will be? So, and I listed off some of
visibility, maybe. I don't know. I was thinking of like the camouflage element.
Yes, I thought of that. And then I was thinking, okay, well, this one probably be more connected to Violet because it's her signet and not just like a gift for Andarna, right? Like the time stop
right,
was
that
a
was
gift.
yeah.
And so we know that like Violet is protective. Mm-hmm. We know that she can be really impulsive. Mm-hmm. She's very self-sacrificial. Like, I'll just do what I need to do to save you. She loves knowing the truth.
Yes.
I hope she becomes like an intrinsic or something. Or just something that like maybe helps Xaden as well.
I know.
I would think it would be ironic if she became an intrinsic because she was all like pissed at Xaden for not telling her.
I know. And if it was like the same kind as him.
Yeah.
Or if... Oh, that reminds me. I did note, did you catch on when they kept bringing up, it happened first at the beginning of a chapter, like one of the little lead-ins, and then later it was mentioned a few times where it came up where it's like, if a dragon has had a rider related to, they could go crazy. And it came up multiple times, and I was like, I literally was like yelling, I'm like, hello, Sageyl had Xaden's grandma or something as a writer. I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about this? So I was just waiting for something to come up with that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's the one thing that I was like, I didn't predict that he would have a second signet. I predicted he would. I was like, is he going to go crazy? Like, is that, because I knew the book ended weird, and I was like, is that what's happening? Yeah.
He kind of did go crazy.
But I'm like, it took Violet a long time to realize that, like, that was talked about multiple times before she was like, wait a minute.
She's supposed to be very smart, but I can't remember this.
Whatever. Anyway, back to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking at the list you made of all the different signets that we've seen. I wonder, I think she always felt like she would be a mender. I don't know if that could be something that could like help Xaden in the future in order to like heal him, or if there's another form of healer that's stronger and maybe rarer. I don't know.
I feel like she doesn't give me healer vibes.
No, but I know that's what she like felt like maybe she would have.
Yeah.
I wonder if the impulsivity is going to play in at all, but I don't know how that would play in.
We did get a mention in the first book, I think, of Xaden saying like distance wielder, like basically they can jump.
I keep getting a phone call.
It's okay.
It's very annoying. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Basically how like they can jump from place to place. And I could see that being Violet because she likes to be everywhere.
And we talked about how that would be a really fun gift. World Walker, is that what they were called? I can't remember.
Distance wielder.
Oh, distance wielder. Thank you. Yeah. I think World Walker is from Throne of Glass. Yeah. Yep. Keeps coming up.
But she just likes to like go everywhere, and because she has her like joints and stuff, that makes it harder for her.
Yeah.
Instead of running, she could just bloop, 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 bloop.
I was thinking Siphon, but then I just remembered that Sloane had that ability, and I'm like, that's not going to happen again. Like they just, and it's kind of a big deal that Sloane's a Siphon. So, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of signets.
Yes.
I have a list for us of all the different signets that we know now. And I'm going to read the newer ones because we talked about some of the other ones in our Fourth Wing episode. So we learned about siphoning. We learned that Imogene. I swear I get on this podcast and like names, I'm like, I can't say this name.
Oh my gosh. Right? Imogene.
Yeah.
Okay.
She can wipe memories, short-term memory.
I could not remember that. And so I love that you wrote that down. And I think that's a cool one.
That is a cool one. Bowie can counter signets, which I don't really understand.
Counter signets. So he can just like block, basically. Okay. He's like very good at defense.
Air manipulation. Breathe underwater is a new one. Seeing weaknesses. That's so manipulative. I don't like that one.
Who's Varish again? That's a professor?
That's who was like torturing her all year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
And then a truth sayer. So they can tell when people are lying to them.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I kind of like that one.
I like that one
but
too.
I also kind of don't like that one. Because I don't know if I would want to know.
It would be good in war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which ones are you like, yes? And which one are you like, that sucks?
Well, I don't think I'd want to be an intrinsic because I wouldn't want to die. The ward extension is a little bland to me.
I like that she figured out that she can become the ward. And it just...
I thought they said that Violet could do that too.
I'm trying to remember.
Did I make that up? I want to say that there was like correspondence at the beginning of one of the chapters between...
It wasn't Violet. It was Mira.
It was Mira. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got confused.
Because it was a correspondence between the professor and then to General Sorrengail, their mom. But it said Mira, unfortunately, Mira basically didn't meet her potential, whatever. Like,
because she needs to figure out that she can do this
from
thing.
Carr. Remember Professor Carr?
Yeah,
was like the
yeah.
trainer?
I don't know why I thought that was about Violet. Okay.
But that sucks because we see that he's a sucky teacher.
Why? Yeah, he doesn't tell them things.
No, he just wanted Violet to be like, blast mountains.
Something else that confused the heck out of me was the little conduit thing and the explanation of how that was being used. Like, I understand what a conduit is, but the explanation of how she was supposed to use it, I was like, next page. All right. Here we go.
It was too much detail. I'm like, yeah, she uses a conduit to help control her power.
Yeah, but
like, that's all I needed.
Over-explained to the point that I got confused.
I agree. I agree. I kind of just like skimmed that. I'm like, okay, I guess she has like this ball.
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, metallurgy. Yeah, summoning. Summoning would be cool because then you never have to leave your couch. Just lay there and be like, wine, popcorn.
Could you summon groceries? Because
I'm
as
sure
you know, Morgan,
good about it.
I hate going grocery shopping.
Well, they have this thing. It's called Walmart Plus. You pay an annual fee and they deliver groceries to your door for free. It's like for free. It's like $60 a year. No, it's $100 a year, but it might be worth it to you.
I go to Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I like
bougie.
Actually,
I know.
It's
Trader
not even
Joe's
bougie.
is literally, people will be like, oh, Trader Joe's. It's literally the cheapest.
It's the
The cheapest for the best quality.
I agree. And there's some stuff that like we eat English muffins a lot, okay?
Yeah.
For breakfast. At Walmart, it's like $3 for one thing. At
Trader Joe's, it's $1.99.
Thank you. I just got some. $1.99.
I know almost every price in that store.
And it's only me and my husband, so we don't eat that much.
Yeah, we do a lot of Trader Joe's. And then I'll go to Walmart or Target for like Malachi's snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I can walk to Trader Joe's. So
I'm jealous.
it's my flex, my one flex in life. I can walk to Trader Joe's. I feel like I say that a lot on an episode. That's my one flex. Maybe I don't say that a lot.
I feel like you do say
I
that.
feel like I do. That's my flex about my home. It's
Your home is, you have more than
10-minute walk to Trader Joe's.
one flex. Morgan's house is so cute. And
thank you.
You have
I'm just
lots
being
of rooms.
silly. I'm not being serious, but thank you so much. I have lots of rooms.
Well, you do.
I think we have the same number of rooms.
Yeah, I feel like I have too many rooms. And this is me not...
Well, I have
like
one
bragging.
kid, and my husband works from home, so we have to have the office.
Well, me and my husband we have 2 dogs, and we're always like, well...
They each need their own room.
They each need their own room, which they do.
Of course.
They do have their own room. And we sleep in another room during the winter.
I forgot you guys do that.
So all
so
our rooms...
weird. I'm just kidding.
All our rooms are used. That's why we do not have children.
We have, in our guest room, we have a TV. We don't have a TV in our master bedroom. We don't want one in there. But every now and then, we just want to watch a movie in bed. And so we'll go lay in the guest room. And it's just nice. It's like our separate movie space.
Ty's been getting hot, so I have been having some problems with my knees. And like then they'll go to like my hips. So we sleeping in our guest room because there's a better bed. But sometimes he gets too hot because it's a smaller bed. So then he's been leaving me. And honestly, that doesn't bother me. I thought
sometimes,
it would.
Because then you're like, space.
I didn't even wake up. I just wake up. I'm like, oh, he's gone. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, I'll just roll into the middle of this bed
The
then.
cold bed.
Yes.
Bed, yeah.
Anyway, I have no idea what I would want. Violet's is cool. I like the memory wiping.
Imagine you do something embarrassing. You should just be like, shh.
It's gone. It's gone now. Mending is really cool.
Yeah.
That would be really neat to do.
Yeah. I also don't mind the storms. I think the storms I know last time we said it was kind of lame, but
Yeah. I would summon a storm today since it's so hot.
it's so hot.
It's been a streak of like 115 where we live. So
lovely.
Super lovely. All right. We had a couple like more general questions.
So we kind of talked about General Sorrengail in the beginning. How do you feel about her decisions on protecting her children?
In the end, or just overall of not telling them?
Of not telling them.
I don't love it. I feel like up to a certain point, yeah, you're not going to tell your children these things. But like before they go join the war, that like, I don't know. It just felt like you were setting them up for failure, kind of. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what's hard is she was general during a time where it was safest for them to stay in whatever their place is called. Navarre. It was safer for them to stay in Navarre. Clearly, that's not going to be the case anymore.
I know. I think I just keep thinking of like Brennan, who died. He didn't die. But like if he had died, he would have died for the wrong side. And like that just sucks. Like that just takes away
his choice.
And like, you know, they're going to war. They know a possibility of death is coming, but they should be knowing who they're fighting for, who they're dying for.
I agree.
That's why it was like, by the time they're going into battle, like they should know.
She reminds me a lot of General Sorrengail. Kind of reminds me of Lydia from Crescent City 3. Spoiler warning. I know I'm giving a lot of. In the sense that like she will do shitty things to protect her children. Yeah. She will even become a bad, evil person.
But she removed her children completely. Yeah. General Sorrengail just brought them along and was like, okay, I'm going to raise you up and you're going to go to this army of really evil people and have fun. Don't die. Yeah. You know, like that's where that difference is to me. Like Lydia was willing to be separated from her children forever, potentially, in order to make sure that they weren't touched by this.
Yeah. And especially knowing that like General Sorrengail does know that like the potential of them dying, even at their college, like trying to even become a writer is super high. Yeah. So they could have died doing anything. Yeah. Like any of the tasks.
I know. So it just, I don't know. I didn't love it. Okay. So we kind of get this hint. General Sorrengail, when she's dying, she dies at the end. And you know, that was sweet that she sacrificed herself in that way. Yeah. But she basically was like, this is like, forgive me, Violet. Like, this is what we planned for you. Like, we planned for you to have this knowledge and like come into your full potential. Which I was like, does this mean they planned for her to be raised as a scribe and then put in the writer's quadrant? And so then I just want to know, like, I know we talked a little bit about this, but how much do you think Violet's dad really knew? Do you think he was fully aware of everything, just like her mom?
I think he knew everything.
I think so too. I think there's more still that she's going to learn from him, even though he's passed on.
I think so too. I feel like there's little hints in like their little headers before the chapter starts, or even them preparing Violet. Like, why would Violet's dad save the fables and like give that to her? There's just, I feel like, clues showing how he knew more. And he has some kind of role in the rebellion. Maybe not like even the rebellion, but just something.
Yeah, I agree. Did you like getting to know her core group a little more? You know, their squad or whatever. And what do you think of Sloane?
I really liked getting to know her core group. I
wish we got more still.
Me too. Yeah. I found it ironic that I feel like a lot of the times the things that she struggles with Xaden, she does the same thing that Xaden does to her, like to her friends.
She's like, he doesn't tell me anything. And then she doesn't tell her best friend anything.
So to me, I'm like, Violet,
you have no right to be mad.
There's no like self-reflection there. Yeah, definitely. We're like trying to understand, like, oh, Xaden does this to me because of this. Like,
just like I'm doing that. Like, I wish Violet would have confided in Rhiannon. But I get why she didn't. Just like with Xaden. I'm like, I get it. It makes sense. Do I wish you would have been more honest? Yeah. But do I get why you weren't? Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I did like learning more about like her team and like how Much of a little family they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Did you like Sloane?
I'm still kind of indifferent to her. Like, I wanted to love her. I mean, I think it was interesting that she didn't like Violet off the bat, but it kind of just felt like another side character that I'm trying to keep track of right now.
That didn't like Violet.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And
another one trying to kill her.
And half the book she's like not even mentioned. It's like she's mentioned at the beginning, and then Violet's like, I'm going to give you a letter a week. And then we never get anything more about that ever. It's like months go by.
I totally forgot that she said that she would give her a letter a week
if she trained with Imogene, and she does. I think she does train with Imogene, but like, that's it.
Yeah, well, too many side characters to care about.
I know. I agree.
Do you have any predictions for the next book?
Something's gonna happen. There's gonna be some sort of power that I'm guessing that Violet's next signet that she'll get from Andarna will somehow help Xaden heal from being a Venin, or he'll be a Venin forever, but he'll be able to like withstand the draw of taking power from the earth or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or he dies.
Would you be okay if he died? I would be fine.
It just has to be done well. There has to be honor in his death, because I will die on the hill that when Glenn died in Walking Dead, killed the show. He was the best character, and there was just like no glory in his death. It was just
unsatisfying.
It was unsatisfying. Like, this needs to be, I need to cry. It needs to be sacrificial. There needs to be multiple pages dedicated to it. But I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. I agree. It has to be done well. Because I also don't like deaths that are just
brushed over, or like when it's a prominent, and I mean, he's not just a prominent character, he is like him and Violet are the main characters. Yeah. So, did you see the new book cover that just came out?
Yes.
Onyx Storm.
I don't know how I feel about that title.
I was thinking about why it was that, and it had to do with, what did they say? Something about the ward stone was related to Onyx. And then it made me think of Violet's lightning. I don't know. Or like a storm. It had to do with something with the wards. Just like Iron Flame, the connection is in the first book. They talk about how they get the iron patch and they're the flame section or something like that.
I don't think I thought about the title Iron Flame. So thank you.
I already knew it was the title. So then I was like, oh, and I knew the next one's called Onyx Storm. So I was like, oh, but the book is like all black and gray, which I guess if you have this one, it'll work maybe. But I was looking at my Fourth Wing and my Iron Flame with like the golds and stuff. And then I'm like, black and gray. Just like, I like it when it flows. I like when
I also saw, looks nice. I don't know if it was like a special edition or what, but it had like the dragons on like the page. Too. On the page edges.
I keep thinking that would be such a fun thing to do, like as a hobby, because I could totally make like stencils and do that to my own books, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
The way people have to like wrap everything up and protect it.
I don't think it'd be... I just made a TikTok about this if you saw it. I really don't have a lot of physical books.
I know you don't.
Borrow a lot of mine. I go to the library.
I go to the library a lot too.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of books, but it's been like my collection since I was a teenager. Like it's been...
I think I told you this. I don't know
more than
if
10 years.
Mentioned it on the podcast, but a lot of my books were stolen. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have that
story later.
That much is because they all got stolen.
That makes sense then, because I've just kind of like accumulated over 15 years.
It's kind of... Honestly, I don't like to think about it.
Sad. No, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so no new episode next week. We're taking a little break.
Then I'm going to do an episode with my friend Jackie.
Oh, yay.
Remember?
No, but cool. So I have 2 weeks off. Or wait, are you doing an episode with her next week?
Yes.
Never mind. There is a new episode next week.
It might not be on a Monday. It might not be.
So a new episode will be coming soon.
Just not on the day. That Mondays.
Just not on the day. What are you guys going to do? Are you talking about ACOTAR?
We're going to read a bonus chapter. We're going to read Azrael's.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And then we're just going to, chat, talk about ACOTAR.
Okay, that'll be so fun. Yeah. I'm excited for that. And then after that, we decided we wanted to do Throne of Glass, but we kind of just need a break from rereading. And so we've really enjoyed doing Fourth Wing. So we're going to do Powerless next, which is super popular on Book Talk and Bookstagram, and the newest book Reckless came out recently. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
I can see the cover in my head.
There's a dagger
and flowers.
Yes, yeah.
I'm
by
excited.
Lauren Roberts.
Are we gonna do it the tandem read?
I want to. Do you want to? We saw there's Powerless, and then there's like a novella in between the two books called Powerful, and a lot of people recommend to tandem read them. Powerful is half the size of Powerless. I think we're going to tandem read it and cover it in just a couple episodes. So stay tuned for that.
I'm excited.
Me too. Follow us on TikTok at It's Fate Podcast, Instagram at It's Fate Pod, and then subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Thanks.
Bye.